We all have this idea, especially with a system like Linux, that our password is this impenetrable wall. But what if I told you that if someone can physically touch your machine, that wall, well, it's more like a flimsy curtain?
Yep, you heard that right. That login screen you type your password into every single day, it can be completely bypassed in just a few seconds. It's not a solid barrier at all, it's a curtain. And today, we're going to pull that curtain right back and show you what's behind it.
So you're probably wondering, how on earth is this even possible? Well, here's the crazy part. You don't need some special USB stick or any kind of fancy hacking software. Nope. All it takes is getting your hands on the machine and about 10 seconds of really precise timing while it's booting up.
And the process itself is, well, it's shockingly simple. When you see that boot menu, you just hit the E key to interrupt it. From there, you just have to find the line that starts with Linux. That's your kernel line. You add one little command to the end, press F10, and that's it. Boom. You've just bypassed the login screen and landed yourself a root shell. So, what's the magic trick here? It all comes down to this one simple line of text. RW init equals bin bash. That's it. This one little command completely changes the rules of the game. You're basically whispering to the Linux kernel, hey, forget all that normal startup stuff. Just give me a command prompt and let me run the whole show. Let's break that down a bit. The first part, RW, that just stands for read/write. It's super important because it mounts the hard drive in a way that lets you actually change stuff. But the second part, init equals bin/bash, oh, that's the real masterstroke. It tells the system to replace the very first thing it's supposed to do, the process that handles logins, with a plain, simple, all-powerful command shell. And once you're in, you are basically the source of all power on that machine. From that little blinking cursor, you are the system's god. There are no more passwords, no permissions to worry about, absolutely no barriers. You can change anyone's password, snoop through any file, even delete users. You have total, absolute control. Okay, so we've seen the how, but to really get a handle on this, you need to understand the why. This isn't just some random bug or oversight. This is baked into the fundamental architecture of Linux. And understanding why this works, well, that reveals something much, much deeper about how the whole operating system is built. All right, now this is where things get really, really interesting. So you're in, you've got your root shell, you've done whatever you came to do, and now you just type exit to leave, right? But think about what you just did. What do you think happens when you tell the single most important process in the entire operating system to just stop existing? See that init process? It's literally everything. People call it the father of all processes for a reason. Every single thing your computer does, from opening a window to connecting to Wi-Fi, it can all be traced back to init. It's the ancestor of the entire system. And if it dies, the whole universe of that operating system just, poof, ceases to exist. And this is exactly what happens. The moment you hit enter on exit from that special shell, you get a kernel panic. The whole system just freaks out. Why? Because the init process, the absolute foundation of the running system, was just killed. The OS literally has no instructions for what to do when its own origin point vanishes. So it just freezes solid. Game over.
And really, this right here gets to the heart of the matter. It's one thing to know a trick, like how to type exit, but it's another thing entirely to understand the architecture, to know why typing exit breaks everything so completely. That's the difference, right? That's true knowledge. It's what separates the amateurs from the pros.
So right about now, you might be thinking, wow, so Linux security is a total joke. But it's not. Not at all. The problem isn't the system itself. It's all in the setup. That curtain we just walked through, it only exists because nobody bothered to build a real wall behind it. So let's talk about how to build that wall. And here's the absolute key to all of this. This whole bypass we just did, it's rendered completely and utterly useless if the hard drive is encrypted. Think about it. The attack depends on being able to edit the boot instructions, but you can't edit what you can't even read. Encryption is the shield that stops this attack dead in its tracks. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? If you aren't using LUKS on your Linux partitions, you don't have a secure PC. You have a public library. Without that full disk encryption, your data is just sitting there, wide open. It's not a private machine anymore. It's basically a public resource for anyone who can touch it.
And this is the solution. It's called LUKS, which stands for Linux Unified Key Setup. It's the gold standard for full disk encryption on Linux. And it doesn't just lock up a few files. No, it scrambles the entire hard drive into complete unreadable garbage. The only way to unscramble it is with that one master password. This isn't a curtain. This is a reinforced brick wall. And you can see the difference right here. With an unencrypted system, it's a straight shot. Grub boot menu, kernel, and then bam, root access. But with Luke's, it throws up this massive encryption wall right at the start. Before the kernel even gets a chance to load, the system just stops and demands the decryption key. If you don't have it, the whole process just stops. Dead. Access denied. Now, if you're a Windows user, you might be thinking, hey, this sounds a lot like BitLocker. And you'd be right. They're designed to do the same thing. But there's a pretty important difference in how they're set up by default. And it's why a lot of security pros really prefer Lux.
It really just comes down to the default key strength. See, BitLocker often defaults to something called AES 128. And don't get me wrong, that's strong. It's a good lock. But Lux, it's built from the ground up for AES 256, which is just exponentially stronger. It's like the difference between a really good deadbolt and a full-on bank vault.
So what does AES 256 actually mean in the real world? Well, it means this many possible keys. Just look at that number. It's so unbelievably huge that trying to brute force it to guess the key is basically impossible with any technology we have now or any technology we can even imagine. That is the kind of wall we're talking about building.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's pretty simple, actually. Real security is never, ever about just one thing. It's not about a single password or single lock. It's about building layers, layers of defense.
Yeah, think of it like this. Your login password, that's the guard standing at the front gate of your castle. Looks tough. But if someone has physical access, they can just walk around the side because there are no walls. Full disk encryption, that's the wall. It's the foundational layer that protects everything inside. And without that wall, the guard at the gate is completely useless.
And all of this really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Take a look at your own computer. After everything we've just talked about, have you really built a fortress to protect your data? Or have you accidentally left the doors wide open to a public library?